Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I've got another fun scrap with me video for you all today. I'm going to be creating a really sweet layout featuring the Something Blue collection from Creative Memories. If you haven't seen this collection before, it does feature a lot of wedding themed elements to it. It's really beautiful, lots of blue and green tones. However, I'm not scrapbooking wedding photos today because I just wanted to showcase how a collection like this, you can still use it to work with just some regular themed photos as well. I've got some sweet portrait shots that I'm going to document, and I've just gone through all the embellishments, and I've just picked out all the non-specific wedding themed elements that feature in the collection, and there's quite a few. I've also got some of these beautiful embroidered embellishments as well, and of course I've got my stickers, the designer paper pack, and I'm also going to be working with the vellum paper pack. Lots of you ask me for ideas for working with the vellum pack, so I'm going to share one technique that I use to create with vellum today. And for this layout today, I am going to be working with another one of my sketches. Now, we touched lightly on this the last video I made, the sketchbooks that I create each month, which you can download from papersweetpea.com. But this is August's sketchbook, and I'm going to be working with sketch number 6. Now, the sample pages in my August sketchbook feature the School Days collection, and I also created some sample pages using the Summer Break collection. This is sketch number 6 completed in the Summer Break collection. So I'm just showcasing how, you can use any collection with these sketches as well. We're going to change a few little things around today, but I am pretty well going to stick to the original design of that sketch. And that's the beauty of sketches. You can follow them exactly. They have all the measurements and everything there included, or you can just use it as a launch pad for your own creativity and change things around to suit yourself. I'll just set this to the side and we can get started. Well, I've just ordered another brand new designer paper pack, the Something Blue collection. And something that I like to do when I get the papers out for that first time is I like to just cut down through the seal just on one corner there. And the reason I like to do that is sometimes just through the top seal there, it can actually be quite tight getting those papers out, and I certainly don't want to crumple them. So that just ensures that I can slide those papers out of that plastic bag that they're in. We've got our cover sheet that features all of the coordinating cardstock colours that we'll blend with this collection, and I love that Creative Memories do that because it takes a lot of the guesswork out when you're creating your layouts. So I need to choose a paper for my background. That's this main paper that you're going to see here in the background of the layout. I think I'm going to work with that floral because I love it so much. I just want a fairly light paper for my background. Okay, I love that blue polka dot, and I think we need a hint of green, and I think I'll go with this white background here. So that's got the grey florally hearts on the back, so we'll work with that as our main background page. So I can set these papers aside. And let's bring in our 12-inch trimmer. So the first pieces we're going to cut are these outside border pieces. We can see here I've given the measurements. We need one piece that's 3 inches by 12, and we need one piece that's 1.5 by 12. So I think I'll work with this dark blue floral. It's beautiful. So that's our 3-inch wide piece. and then the other was 1.5. Like so. I'm going to do all of my cutting of these strips first, and then we can come in and adhere those into place. So I can see here I've got another contrasting piece of paper that has been used, and it's 1 inch by 12 inch, and I think I'm going to use the same paper for this smaller strip over here, which is 3/8 of an inch by 12. So I'll use the pale blue polka dot for these ones. So I need one 1 inch strip, and then 3/8 of an inch. And I mean, again, you can change these dimensions if you wish to suit yourself. These are just the dimensions that I've given for the sketch design. So I'll bring back in our background, and we'll get that nice and square on the cutting mat, and then we can adhere these strips into place. Okay, I'm going to be working with my repositional tape. For those of you who have been following my scrapbooking for a while, you'll know that that's always my go-to. I like being able to lift things off the page if I change my mind or I don't get things quite right the first time. So this 3-inch strip is adhered to the left-hand side. So you want to make sure you get that nice and square. Stick that into place. And then the other smaller strip will go on the right-hand side. So over here. And following our sketch as a guide, we've got these two thinner strips. We've got the wider 1-inch strip that goes here on the left, and our 3/8 of an inch strip runs along this strip here. You could also use a punched border strip or perhaps a border sticker. You don't have to just use, you know, some straight cut strips like I'm using, so you can change it up that way. We'll add our light blue polka dot there. And then we've got our thinner strip on the other side. Like so. Now, I don't know if you can see on the camera here, but we've also got another thin 3/8 of an inch wide strip that goes over our polka dot, but I think I'm actually going to use a border sticker for this rather than more paper. So I'll just open up our stickers here. And I might go for the bolder dark blue sticker here. And it's got a punch center on this sticker. So you just want to take your time removing it from the backing to make sure that you punch out all of those middle pieces. Okay, so I've punched out all those little center pieces on that border sticker, so I can run that down over the top of that strip there. It gives a really nice finish. Now you can see how quickly that has come together in just preparing our background, which brings us back to our sketch, and we can actually start looking at our photo placements, and in particular this circular piece that I've included on the design. Now originally I have allowed for that to be a photo, as you can see by my sample layout down here. However, today I've actually printed a fun little quote that I found on Pinterest, and I'm actually going to use it like a little quote circle on my layout because I've just got the 2 photos. And I'm going to be working with the vellum from the Something Blue collection. So we had the vellum paper pack. Now I've chosen the lightest vellum from the pack, and you can see there, if I hold it up to the camera, it's got little leaves just softly over the vellum. And what I've done is I've cut a sheet down to A4 size, and I just went onto Pinterest and found a little quote that I loved that I thought would work well with my photos. And I've just opened a Word document on my computer, typed that in and printed it on my vellum. I don't have a fancy printer by any means. It's just your regular inkjet printer. What I did to make sure that I had the sizing right, because if you check my sketch, it tells you that the photo size for this would have been the small custom cutting system circle, red blade, outside track. So I knew that whatever quote I used had to fit within our smallest circle and the outside track. So what I did first is I've just typed it into my Word document, sized it to what I thought, and I've just printed it out onto some regular paper, and that's what I've used just as my guide to make sure that I'll fit that circle around the quote. And when I was happy, then I've printed it onto my vellum. A helpful little tip is when you first print onto your vellum, let it dry. I can't stress this enough. I've smudged more vellum than I care to count, but do just make sure when you get it out of your printer, you just give it a few minutes so you know that ink will dry for you. I'm not going to be wasting too much of the vellum. I'm just going to be cutting my circle from the top, and then you can see I've still got heaps left over that I can work with for another project. But I just thought it was a really sweet little quote that worked with my portrait photos. It's sugar and spice and everything nice, wishes and dreams. She's more than she seems, sipping tea and playing ball, picks herself right up after a fall. Make believe and play pretend, her imagination has no end. Strong, brave, sweet and smart, describing her, that's just the start. Embrace yourself and watch out world for this amazing little girl. So that will be the quote that will feature in my little circle. So we'll set about cutting the layers for that, because it is actually a layered circle. The vellum will obviously be the top layer. And I mean, this is just another way that I'm customizing the sketch to suit me. So you can put a photo there if you choose. But like I said, I only had 2 photos for this layout. So that's why I'm using some journaling for the circle. So we can just lift this aside for now. And it's just figuring out what coloured papers we want to use for our different circles. So the largest circle is the medium custom cutting system circle with blue blade on the outside track. So that's this one, and I'm going to need my blue blade. Now I think I'll work with that green that I picked there at the start. And your blue blade will cut the furthest away from your template. So this will be the largest circle for this template. So that's our first circle, and I'll just turn my blade back over so I don't cut myself. So that's our first circle. And I think the second circle I'm going to use the reverse of our dark blue floral. And it's got another sort of medium toned blue to that paper. So for this layer we need the small custom cutting system circle green blade on the outside track. So we'll get our green blade. Make sure we get that hooked in properly there. And that's got our second circle, which will sit over the top there. And if you're unsure about papers, because we are going to be layering the vellum over the top of that blue paper, just check before you cut that circle out that you're happy with how the vellum looks over that paper. So we can adhere these two circles together and then we can cut our vellum. So you just want to make sure that you get that top circle centered and that you have an even space all the way around. Now I'm just going to be eyeballing that, make sure that I get it as even as I can. No, not quite. That's why I like the repositionable tape. I could just lift that away. There we go, that's better. And stick that into place. So our final cut will be our vellum, and this is where we're using our small circle with the red blade, and it's going to go around the outside track. So you just want to make sure that you've got your text within the boundaries of your circle. This is why I did my test print to start with. That way I could check that, you know, how I had the size of my wording on that Word document would fit within the boundaries of the template. And I'm just going to hook in my blade. So we'll just cut around that outside edge. Ooh, throwing blades here. Look out. And we've cut out, you can see there, we've cut out our little fun little text that we're going to add to our layout. Now the great thing with Creative Memories is they make a vellum tape. Now this is obviously the refill cartridge. You can buy the cartridge by itself, or you can buy it with the housing unit as well. But they do make a vellum tape, and this is so great because if you know what it's like trying to adhere vellum to a project, you're always going to see a good amount of the glue or whatever adhesive you used underneath. But they do have a specialty vellum tape, and I'm not going to use much at all. I'm just using just a couple of runs, top and bottom, and side and side. And that's all I need. And then I'm just going to center that . And the magic thing is, I just want to show you, hold this up to the camera. Before that's stuck down, you can actually still see where that vellum tape is. Now I've just adhered this side down and just press gently and massage that, and it disappears. So this tape is fabulous. I highly recommend you get yourself some if you like to work with the vellum papers. So just give it a little massage. And that has our little quote circle that we can add to our page. So let's bring back my background. Obviously the circle's going to sit up here to the left, and then following the same layout as my sketch allows, we've got our vertical photo to the top and our horizontal format orientation to the bottom. Okay, so now it's time that we can add our photos and get everything in place. You'll see by my sketch, I have allowed for a photo mat for the photos. You don't have to, you can just adhere your photos directly to the page, but I am going to use a mat for my photos, which means I'm going to trim these photos down just a little bit. You can see I've allowed for all the measurements there on the sketch that will tell you what you need to cut them down by. And I just want to bring in, this is the brand new Creative Memories photo trimmer. It's currently available. It did sell out when it first released in a huge hurry, very popular. But this is the new photo trimmer. I'm actually just going to bring in the old version. This was the original photo trimmer from Creative Memories that I have. And I'm going to be honest with you, I wasn't a fan of it. It had the drawer underneath that you could add your photos and your tools or whatever underneath it. Again, if you've scrapbooked with me for a long time, I know I've given heart failure to many of you because I will use my 12-inch trimmer to cut my photos down, and it was because I wasn't a fan of the old photo trimmer. However, now that the new one has arrived, can I tell you, massive, massive fan, massive fan. I absolutely love it. You've got the extendable measurement arm here. You've got one very, very sharp guillotine blade. The thing that I love on the underside is you can actually store some of your scissors underneath. You've got place for 2 pairs of scissors, and it will also stack on top of your 12-inch trimmer. Fits snugly on the top. So if you've been sitting on the fence about getting this, I love it. And I can tell you now, I really wasn't a fan of the, and that's just me, but I really wasn't a fan of the old design. But what they've done with this baby, they've hit it out of the ballpark. I absolutely love it. Just letting you know, this is really, really sharp. Please do be careful. We don't want any sliced fingers. The measurements are so easy to read on this, making it so simple for cutting down your photos. Like I said, you've got that little extendable arm. You can also use it obviously for all your paper cutting too, if you're just doing, you know, smaller pieces of paper. But I need to cut my photo down to 5.75 by 3.75. So I'm just going to line that up in my trimmer and bring down that guillotine arm, and that's just going to slice through that photo perfectly. So lift that arm again, and we want 3.75, which I can line up there, and the same thing, slice that away so you get a perfect cut. I'm going to do the same to my second photo. Just line that up to the measurement you need, which is 5.75, and cut through. So when you see a product, you know, sell through as quickly as what the photo trimmer did, you know it's a winner. And I've been super, super happy with mine. So that's trimmed our photo, so we can set that to the side. And now we just need some photo mats, and I'm going to just check my little guide here again at the coordinating cardstock. And you know what, I might go with avocado. I know that's a bold choice, but we've already got a lot of blue there on our page. So I've got my avocado here. It's a bold choice, but if the designers have listed it as a cardstock that's going to blend with this collection, then you know it's going to work. So I'll use my 12-inch trimmer for this, and we just need 2 photo mats at the 6x4 measurement. Okay, so we can come in, and we know that those photos are going to be a perfect size fit for those photo mats. So you can stick those into place as well. Again, I'm just using my repositionable tape. There's our second. So I'll bring back our layout, and we can start to fit things into place. So we've got our vertical orientation that will go here. I'll just tuck in that circle a little behind. And then we've got our second photo towards the base. And I think that avocado cardstock, that's going to look great. So we'll leave that like so. Now I'm going to stick this circle into place first, even though we've still got some little extra embellishments that we can add to it. We'll do that after it's into place. So you can use your photos as a guide, and then just carefully slide that out, and we can get it stuck into place. stick our circle and then we add our photos. And even though we've used repositional tape, one great quality of that is it actually will become more permanent once it's in place. So even though, you know, when you first use it, you can lift things up and move them around, just know that that does become more permanent once it's in place. So I've got our little banners we can add, and the measurements I've given, you don't have to be too specific with these either. Just use what suits you. The measurement I've given is 1 inch by 2.5 inches for those. Now I'm going to cheat and use my little tag punch. This is no longer available, which makes me sad because I really did like this punch. It makes sure that you get that little ribbon end perfectly, or fishtail, whatever you like to call it. It's no longer available, but you can just cut that with your scissors. So, you know, it's just that if there's a tool for the job, you use it. And this is from my stash. Now I'm going to use the reverse side of that light green that we cut our circle from. And I'm going to cut 1 inch wide strips. I'll take it from that side. I'm not sure if you can hear coming through my camera today, but we have just gale-forced winds happening here today. So if you can hear the wind in my video, I do apologise. It's quite loud. Feels like the house is going to lift off and take away. I'm also going to use the same blue that backs my vellum quote there. So I'm just going to cut an inch strip. And then the length was 2.5. I'm going to make mine just a little bit longer, just so it gives me more to play with in positioning. They can tuck in behind and be adhered into place. So I'm going to work with 4. I've cut them at about 3 inches long. But I can bring in my punch. So whatever method you're using, whether you're just going to cut the end with your scissors or you have one of these punches, I'm just going to slide that in and punch that end away. You can see how perfect that comes out. Okay, so that punches our little tags. We can put that punch away again. Okay, so now we can add the embellishments to the page, and you'll find too when you're working with my sketches, I know a lot of you struggle to know, well, where can I add an embellishment or a sticker, and I do offer suggestions. I just add some little random shadowed pieces here on the sketch which tells you where you can add your embellishments on your completed pages. So, all right, so we add our tags here, overlapping coming out of our circle. So what I've done is it's over the top of that largest circle, but I'm tucking it in behind that middle layer, and I'm just going to alternate both paper patterned pieces like so. And they're just going to go around that top section of the circle. And when you're happy with, you know, how they're sitting and how you've spaced those out, then by all means you can go ahead and get those stuck into place. I really love these embroidered adhesive embellishments, so I think I'd like to add these to the page. Definitely love this large cluster. Look at that, it's so beautiful. We might even add a little heart. If we add it here to the side of our photo, and then we can add a little heart. I'm out of my repositionable tape, so let's place our refill in. I always run out mid-video. So we just place that replacement in the runner. Okay, we could add another little blue heart to the middle of that, because why not? And I think we'll use more flowers up to the side here. And perhaps the little camera, it's very cute. So if I add the camera there, and perhaps some little extra leaves. I don't need all of that, so I'm going to cut it in half. And I can use the bottom half on another project. That's better. It's a neater finish, neater fit. Another little flower here with another fabric heart. Okay, so that completes our layout for today. I hope you've enjoyed seeing how that all came together, and perhaps you learned a few new things about creating with the vellum papers. Don't forget, if you'd like your very own sketchbook, the August copy is available now on my website. I will link that below this video. But for now, take care, and I will see you again very soon. Happy scrapping. Bye.